are listening to the Chompcast, an official podcast of Sword Chomp and swordchomp.com. Thanks for taking time out of your crazy life to make time for ours. Quick reminder that if you dig the show, flip on over to patreon.com/swordchomp and check out the different ways you can support the growing Chomp Nation army. It's a very, very direct show today. We are getting directly to the point, and we have some hot new Nintendo news that is going directly into your veins via our verbal syringes. We have our full thoughts on the Nintendo February Direct, including the polarizing new art style for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. And you don't want to miss that because we had feedback from you. That's right, you, the listener, not you, Fish, our at Sword Chomp community on Instagram. And anytime we get our community involved to discuss things, it got heated on the Instagram this week. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We have some really cool polls to talk about. Some Final Fantasy questions. There's the Final Fantasy VIII 20th anniversary, if that's even a thing. I made it up. And, of course, more Apex Legends talk. And we recap the biggest games of the year, everything from Kingdom Hearts to Resident Evil and more, with our good friend and special guest joining the crew today from Destructoid.com, the maestro, Rich Meister's here. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, good to have you here.
No, we're running late, so I'm already like 2 drinks deep. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it's been crazy. So for our intros, as we introduce you, again, our special guest, thanks for being here, and everybody else in the crew, I have a couple quick hitter questions for you to answer and get you warmed up. Not that you really need it. So here's your 2, Rich. Are you ready? All right.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Right, so the first question is, how was your Valentine's Day?
I worked, and then I got home and worked on a review and fell asleep in my own filth. So fantastic.
I was hoping
priorities.
I was waiting for the punchline at the end there. Yeah. You got it. And secondly, I know you've seen the new Legend of Zelda art style. How does Link blink? Tell me that.
He doesn't. Link is a soulless golem. He exists only to do the bidding of his master, the Windfish, and he has no need for blinking.
That was a much better answer than I expected. God damn you, Rich.
Why would a sleeping person blink?
Yeah,
how often do you blink in your dreams?
Spoiler alert.
Oh, god damn. Man, I think we found that deep level that we were looking for already. 2 minutes into the podcast. Thanks for being here, Rich. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
No, thanks for having me.
That other voice chiming in was the one and only Joshua Fowler here from Michigan. I should say joining us from Michigan, whatever. Josh is here. Josh is pretty exciting. I mean, Link's Awakening.
I am pretty exciting.
You are probably the most exciting person.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
Josh is exciting. Never seen Josh this excited before. We should start the show late every day.
It's got me in a good mood.
It's good things happen when I'm late.
Quite jovial.
Jovial Josh. Sorry, it's a little weird because I don't have my camera this week, so you guys are just kind of true improv. Josh, I know Link's Awakening, game that holds a special place in your heart. Wasn't that the one you picked above all the Zelda games whenever we did our little like top 4 games of all time or whatever? Pretty sure that was the one.
I believe it was. If not, it would have been like top 2, if nothing else. I think it was the top one though. Like there's stiff competition for those.
It's a good choice though.
Yeah.
It's my first Game Boy game ever.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a really good one to be your first Game Boy game.
Your very first.
I had to go to the doctor, so I got to leave school early, and I got Link's Awakening. So that was neat.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of crazy that you got to do that. Like, I got to leave for the doctors too, but I ended up just getting Tetris.
Tetris is good. Like, don't talk shit about Tetris.
Oh, I'm not knocking it.
Yeah. Some would say
that was one of my first 2 games.
Some would say it's the best battle royale game.
Whoa. You're putting the heart. What is it? How's the phrase go? Putting the cart before the wagon?
Cart before the horse.
I see you're plugging your Twitter already, Rich.
Yeah. At the Richmeister0.
There you go.
Follow for content.
Yeah.
You should. Slide into his DMs too.
Yeah,
anyways,
absolutely. They're open. They're open, ladies.
Look, I
just like
just
invited.
think about how little effort it would take to salvage that sort of Valentine's Day.
Oh,
I'm gonna have dick pics from Fish later.
Oh, you know it.
Trust me, you don't have to ask for those.
Oh, no.
Or you have to change my phone number twice.
Unsolicited. Yeah. So of course, thanks for being here, Josh. And how was your Valentine's Day? Really quickly, what's the 10-second summary?
It was fine. We did Texas Roadhouse with the kids, and
Texas? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
kinda
know
hung
what
out.
that is. What is
watched a bunch of
Texas Roadhouse?
Overwatch League.
Oh, that's romantic.
Mm-hmm.
'Tis the season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Do you watch the league stuff too, Rich?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that opening day was good. Those were good matches.
There was good stuff going on. It's a good way to distract me from doing the work I should actually be doing. So I thank them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Fish, the person we were just joking about there, the one and only, the Filipino Johnny Depp, joining us from Texas. His eyes lit right up whenever I use the term DM. That's all it really takes to get Fish Randy nowadays.
That's right.
Let's try it again.
That's my happy place.
Let's try it again. Fish is here. Thanks for joining us, Fish. DM. Oh, there he is. There it is. See, you got. Well, I guess the eye thing doesn't play on podcasts.
It's because he's such an avid Dungeons and Dragons player.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I left the foreplay out because I think people don't realize this, but the term "slide into the DM" I think is the erotic part. Really, that gets left out often.
Is it?
Fit? Yeah. It adds a little, nice little description there.
Flavors.
I think it's pretty overt what that means, Morgan. I don't think you're describing some underpinning of a word.
You opened their eyes just now.
Please explain.
Yeah, 11-year-old is like, oh, and that's it.
Oh,
Wait, holy shit.
Oh God. Well, yeah. So Fish is here. How was your Valentine's Day? Actually, I don't even know. I need to ask you, Fish, if anyone follows our VIP Patreon page. Go to patreon.com/swordchomp, and if they're a VIP, they know that I posted all.
Yeah,
There's like a lot of socks.
They got to see him live tweet that microwave burrito that he was spending Valentine's Day with.
God, there's nothing better than a fucking microwave burrito.
That's
having that hot
true.
oil drip out of it and just sliding it into your gullet.
Oh, now you're winning me over. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
What happens once it's in your gullet?
Well, that's when you put it in the sock.
I was going to say
damn,
that.
God
that is
damn
a
it, Fish,
talented
you ruined
gullet. That is a talented gullet.
All right. I gotta get away from Fish before he just sabotages everything.
I've seen people tie, like cherry stems in their mouth, but after it's been swallowed, that's impressive.
It really
It has to come out somewhere, Josh.
Okay, let's get out of here. From Japan, Shea Layton is here, the one and only, the professor, as we call him. Shea, how was your Valentine's Day in Japan?
It was pretty awesome. I got off work and I went to this soap land, and I had been saving up money for a few months, and I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go wild. And I had like 6 people bathing me. My fingers
amazing,
got their own
actually.
individual bath. It was pretty nice. And, it ended just as you would have expected it to. I got too drunk and I fell asleep in the water, and the paramedics had to come and resuscitate me.
Oh, yeah. Well, that sounds about par for the course.
That's magical. That's a fairy tale.
You know what? It was a tale
That's
of
how my
some
grandparents met.
your grandparents were just in Japan, like, let's, at the same time, let's go get a bath.
Not Detroit.
Oh, man. Well, that's good. I mean, so...
No, it was good. It was pretty boring.
Yeah.
It was boring. I just went to work, came home, ate dinner, went to bed.
All right. Well, that works. Not Valentine's Day is not always exciting, but I just want to check in with you guys. Sounds like sadness abounds. Yeah, thanks for being here, Shea. Excited to talk a bunch of different things with you. Sorry we delayed the show a little bit. Life has been crazy. I was telling you guys before the show, us is General Mountain Time. Morgan here from Montana. It's been a crazy couple days. Like, this is going to be one of the most improv podcasts we've ever done, so I'm glad you guys are really drunk. Because nothing was going right. Buzzed. Okay, good. Yeah, you don't want to be drunk yet. Like halfway through, maybe.
Yeah, I still got to wake up early.
Otherwise, you'd be falling. No, Josh is halfway through the 10th
I'll
class.
go get another bottle.
I gotta. Which loud LaCroix are you drinking, Josh?
The melon pomelo with a cantaloupe grapefruit.
Mio Pepino.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one's a good one, too. We have the two best ones currently.
Yeah, these are good LaCroix.
Yeah, the cucumber blackberry that you've got and the cantaloupe pink grapefruit are the two best.
I'm a fan.
I feel like it's too bad that Rich lives all the way in New York, because it sounds like you guys could have a blossoming friendship. You could watch Overwatch and drink LaCroix. It's great.
It's a loud drink.
Yeah.
Did you say LaCroix?
LaCroix.
Damn it! I think he was gonna catch that. God damn it!
I was just gonna let it go.
That's the cousin to what is it? Fight Milk? Is that? It's
Fight
Always
Milk.
Sunny. What is it? I'm trying to think of it.
Yeah, it's Fight Milk. It's Fight Milk.
It's Fight Milk. Yeah, I thought.
Well,
So.
they just let it go. So I'm like,
Made from real crow.
It's made by bodyguards for bodyguards.
well, they just let it go. So I was like, maybe I was right. And then I saw Shea leaning toward the camera, and I was like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see Shea leaning toward the camera, it's usually fuck.
My sister called it.
It's like a
Crocs
50-50
once.
Yeah,
chance.
it's not so much LaCroix as it is the sound the crow makes.
It's actually L.A. Crow. L.A. They're straight from Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Crows always hang out in my front yard. What's up with that?
You need to invest in the scarecrow. This is this
A
is
fright bird. Yes.
Yes.
Or a BB gun.
Yeah.
What was that crow
This
sound
is
you made,
technology
Josh?
humanity has lost.
The Quah! Can you do that sound again? That was a good sound. It reminded me a lot. I lived with Fish for years. It reminded me a lot of his orgasm sound, but I could hear it all the way through the apartment.
It's a hell of a spike on this recording.
Yeah, it really is. That's for sure. But yeah, so let's get right into it. The topic of the show is all about the Nintendo Direct that just dropped this week, and it's cool when these things drop because they give us free topics. We have to find a topic for every podcast, and that's a lot of fun. But sometimes the topics are just right there for the plucking. And this is an interesting one. So there's a lot to talk about. It was more than just the Zelda remake getting announced, Link's Awakening, but that was the one that grabbed the headlines. So I'm not afraid to just dive right into that one when the time comes. But I want to kind of go around you guys and see if there's anything that dropped. I know, Rich, you're really plugged into this stuff, so I'm going to send it to you first. You're our special guest as well.
So what are we looking for? What do I think is for Link's Awakening take?
What I want to, well, not yet, because that's like that's the money shot. I want to save that.
Creme.
Yeah, that's the money shot. We got to save it.
I don't think that's the only money shot though of this direct. Like this was a hell of a direct.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the opener, Super Mario Maker 2. Some would say the sequel to the best game on the Wii U. Some are me.
Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, no. Wait. Out the gate.
Does that person still? You are aware that there was a Donkey Kong Country game on the Wii U, right?
I am, but I'm gonna stand by what I said. I really like that Donkey Kong Country game, but if it was Donkey Kong Country Maker, then maybe we'd have something to debate here.
Now you're just making me come.
That game is a game that needs a community too, though. So actually having it on a console that
has people.
Someone
to be
bought.
honest, like the Wii U community was more thriving than you'd expect, especially considering the tools that were given to us to communicate with each other because they were awful. But like having that go again, there's some new assets from 3D World thrown in there, like the clear pipes and the cat costume. I'm very excited to make Mario again. Like that game, the original, is the reason my Wii U is still connected to my TV.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I missed out on it, and like you said, I think you almost touched on something I always thought about, because there was a smaller community on the Wii U, but generally they were more hardcore for that very reason. And they had like the Nintendo diehards, like people like me that were one of the 10 million people or whatever that bought a Wii U, and that community was more driven, I think, to.
Well, of the people that bought a Wii U, if I remember correctly, it was you, me, this guy Drew,
a homeless guy down the street,
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah,
the four of us, and we would play Mario Maker. I remember back from the Wii U days.
Yeah. I tried to get Fish to get a Wii U one time, and he laughed. He laughed at me.
Do you guys want to hear the stupidest investment I ever made in my life? I own 2 Wii U's.
Wow.
When the Switch got announced, and the Wii U had just happened like the day before, I went to a Best Buy and I bought another Wii U, and it's in my closet in the box.
Damn. That's devotion. You know, I do the thing with Nintendo where, like, every time they come out with something new, I trade in the other thing in the attempt of, like, just evolving. So, like, I got rid of my 3DS to trade in toward the Switch, and I got rid of my Wii U to trade in toward I get rid of them, yeah.
Yeah, the Wii U is actually a great system to buy at this point.
It's a proto Switch also, basically.
Yeah. Well,
but they're remaking everything on the Switch, so...
Not everything.
Not so much now, but... because it can still backwards compatible play everything from, GameCube up. It's still
totally
great system just for having something up to date that's going to work, that's going to be able to play all those old games.
For having like a Nintendo end all be all. Also there's some
that's true.
There's some stuff I don't see coming over, like, and weirdly great, and almost no one will ever play it. That weird Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem crossover is only on the Wii U. And
I don't even remember that. Wow.
It's a great, weird Wii U exclusive RPG.
Yeah. They also had a few, like, asymmetrical couch co-op games that were really, really cool on the Wii U as well, because they were actually taking advantage of, one of you sitting there holding a tablet this whole time.
Yeah, like, if you get Rayman on the Switch now, like, it just drops the features that it was using in that Wii U version, where somebody was understood to have the tablet and basically be, like, manipulating the environment and such.
Yeah. Yeah, like, even Pikmin 3 was great for that reason. Like, being able to control stuff directly on a map to get out orders and stuff. That was really cool. And, I mean, they can do that in the handheld mode for the Switch, but...
totally.
Not if you're playing on, TV mode or something, so...
I think that's the one thing I'm surprised they never built into the Switch, which was... some sort of, I guess, almost Bluetooth-style relay where you could be still sending a signal to your TV while you're sitting on the couch with it for certain games. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. There's a lot of Wii U love on the left side of my Skype screen right now. It's coming from Josh and Rich. Well, okay, so, yeah, I'm excited to try Super Mario Maker 2. That looks really fun. For people that never tried it because of the Wii U thing, this is going to be awesome. It's on the Switch portability. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to suggest that when that drops, and we've tried, but we did it with PS2 hardware, so that was a hell of a doozy for us to stream together in the past. But I think we should make Mario together. I think that could be a hell of a time.
Sounds so romantic. Let's make Mario together.
Yeah, that's actually how I proposed to my most recent girlfriend. She dumped me after proposing that idea.
Shocking.
No, she was a bitch.
Wow, that took a left turn. No,
it's a hot take. I'm just talking in generalities. I'm not actually talking about anyone in particular. That story was farcical and made up.
Well, you suggested it, and she said, "How Italian are you?"
No, I was like, you know what? Honestly, not very.
Yeah.
No, the announcement of that game, in all seriousness, makes me want a Switch a little bit more. Actually, it would be really exciting to be able to do that with you guys. So, like, I was thinking about how fun it'd be to play that with you guys. So, it prompted me a little bit more to want to Switch.
Yeah. We could squat up and stomp some noobs in Tetris Royale. So,
Tetris 99, baby, the best battle royale.
Shout out one more time to the Twitter, Rich. Get it in there.
Yeah, shout out at the Richmeister0.
There we go. Okay, just want to make sure we did our due diligence.
You're looking at a guy who's gotten to 11th place in Tetris 99.
Wow,
which is
that's like
it's
pretty good. I think.
Not 99, but 11th.
Yeah,
like,
my
woo,
mom
top
said it was pretty
9%.
good.
she was so proud of you.
She took you to Pizza Hut afterwards. I'm so proud of you, honey.
Honestly, I think she just wanted to get me off the phone.
Yeah, we're finally gonna let you use that personal pan pizza you got for reading club as a child.
Yeah,
You
I
never
remember
deserved it
those.
until now.
Oh, I had those.
Uh,
Man, when you were a kid, getting that personal pan pizza was the best thing ever. God, you're really digging in my childhood, Josh. Okay, so that one looked really cool. Looks like we're all excited for some sewer. What else, Rich? Give us I know you got these off the top of your head. You just spout them out, and we'll just keep talking about them.
yeah, no, but I did play a lot of Tetris 99, honestly. And that game has like a weird layer to actually trying to strategically get people out that I'm not sure I am in touch with enough to actually win a game of that. But like I said, 11th is the closest I've gotten without really trying to engage with the targeting parameter, which you can kind of select who you're trying to hit. There's like a million Tetris games going on to the left and the right of you. You could try and target people who are close to a KO. You can try and target people who are attacking you. It's incredibly confusing, and the game does not explain any of it to you.
Great. That's my favorite thing in the world. God, that's one of those things that you just have to be. If someone told you it was going to be a battle royale Tetris game, you would never believe them. And yet here it is. So
I mean, this was like a joke that was, I'm pretty sure, made like a year ago, and now you look at it and you're like, that's
that's a thing.
Yeah.
What did you?
Starlink though? Yeah. How about Starlink?
No, Starlink is evil.
Ubisoft just making Star Fox now, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know a single living human being that has any sort of passion toward Starlink. How is this a thing?
I played it.
And your level of passion on a scale of 1 to 10 is?
I wish I'd played a little bit more of it. It's weirdly good. For what it is. I just didn't have the time to really delve into it in the way I would have liked. And I did play as Fox. I had the Star Fox, the Switch version of the starter thing. It's a weirdly set up game because it's like an RPG where you're sort of hovering on this overworld map and you scan things almost like a No Man's Sky, and you're just like flying around hitting targets, but you're not a character walking, you're in a spaceship.
I know. I've read a lot about it. I've watched some videos. It's an odd looking thing. And they were going for the toy thing. They were trying to get on the toy hook where you had to buy stuff.
But the smart thing they did, and this was definitely a decision made last minute, was there are digital options that are much cheaper. Yeah. So you can sort of dive in and like pay X amount and just have all this content. I actually have everything physical. Not because I bought it. I bought the Star Fox thing physical. Mostly because I was buying the game because I wanted this little tiny R-Wing to put on my shelf. And then Destructoid's CJ Anderson was working on a review, and he was like, hey, I got all this physical stuff. Do you want it? And so I sent him $40 to mail it all to me.
That's a good... Yeah, I wish one of those games had connected with me. Like, oh, here, if you buy this expensive... Sadie Adler statue, you can get an exclusive Sadie Adler quest line. That's the kind of stuff I want, but none of the...
That's hyper specific. Are you fishing for something?
Maybe. What did you think? So the big one that they said, it wasn't that much of a surprise, because if you went to the Direct website, it was like, upcoming news on Nintendo games, including Fire Emblem, what is it, Three Fates? Is that what it's called? Yeah,
that was what they were discussing as the focus of the Direct, which we did get a lot of details on that.
Yeah, they went on for a while. About
it seems interesting. I hope Shea comes back because I know he has a lot to say about Fire. That looks interesting. Oh, he's right there. He's just hiding.
I wish there was a video component to this show because that was amazing.
I was just stretching my neck.
He just slides in from out of frame.
I was doing.
It's a reference to the DM thing earlier.
Yeah. Oh, he had a really dirty joke about him just kind of popping up there. But but it's interesting because the big thing they revealed is that it's based around the idea of sort of picking a class to go with. Like, there's the three. They're not called classes, right? They're
houses. It's a school.
Houses. So they're going for like a Game of Thrones kind of vibe. There's even one that has a golden stag on it.
They're going for like
they've done with the Hogwarts
thing. Like, how are you?
Well,
it's a school.
Literally, one of the houses is a golden stag, which is.
Oh my god!
But it's a school.
It's the Barathon, the Baratheon. Sorry, it could be a little both. And the reason I say that is because Fire Emblem is a fantasy game and it's kind of set in that world. So yes, I agree with the
unlike,
Hogwarts thing.
I don't
too.
know.
Harry Potter,
Harry
which
Potter.
is grounded in reality.
No, but it's
What?
not like dragons and stuff like that.
Yes,
and
it is.
swords.
Yes, it
But
is.
no, it's not the same. It's like wands and books and. Well,
What?
The hole you're digging is spectacular.
I guess it's kind of both. Now that I think about it. No, because Fire Emblem. Now that I think about it, Fire Emblem has both dragons and people with spell books. I just think of it more of being like medieval kind of fantasy than Harry Potter fan. Maybe that's just me. Apparently, I'm crazy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is the-
It's not
is
like
the
the main
problem you're
character
having-
in every Fire Emblem is some random guy who gets, picked up by one of these people and, ends up becoming their
feel-
tactician who saves the world. That's
Nah, it doesn't sound right to me.
no.
I feel like the reason you're having a hard time connecting with it is like, I think you're putting up this weird boundary where you're like, yeah, Harry Potter fights dragons and is magic, but also like his uncle owns a Chevy Impala.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah,
it's,
but
it's the Impala that
setting,
really
yeah.
is the
Grounds the
that's
universe.
the bridge too far.
Well, but if you were describing like this general setting of Fire Emblem, you would describe it as
High fantasy.
yes, that exactly. No, you're trying to sneak around that question a little bit.
Well, what do you mean? Like, how
There's
do you
like
want...
castles and come on, man! It's you
Harry
know what I'm
Potter
trying to say.
literally takes place primarily in a castle.
No, it's not the same. Okay, let's
Don't
move on.
ruin his narrative, Rich. Fuck.
Yeah. Morgan
You're ruining
really
it for
doesn't
me. You're
understand the difference between high and low fantasy, and we've had whole discussions about the entire thing before. So
I think
I
I
know.
understand what you're trying to say, but I think you're just harping too much on the fact that Harry Potter is set in the modern world, but also high fantasy.
I'm writing a poll question right now just because I'm so mad at you guys. Poll
Mhm.
question for next week: Harry Potter or Game of Thrones? All right. Anyways, so the big thing is
You
that
realize
did-
you're gonna get fucking stomped on that. You realize that, right?
Last time you said I was gonna get stomped in a poll, I didn't. Do you
You're gonna
remember
get
that poll?
fucking stomped. I love Game of Thrones more than Harry Potter, but you're gonna get fucking stomped.
I'm gonna make spoof accounts.
They're gonna curb. The Chomp Nation's gonna curb.
You're
stomp
gonna
me.
have so many
You're
followers.
gonna call them the Death Eaters?
it's like, why are there so many
Yeah.
responses from Chili's waitresses on this poll?
Yeah. I'll tell you about a
Brought it
podcast.
back around.
But so that's the big hook, though. I guess from just watching that video is that you choose one of the houses and you sort of live this life of like a student kind of a thing.
Or of a
Um,
professor, like they explained.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah. But it's a
Student,
little bit of a-
professor, same thing in
Yeah,
your
it's-
mind.
Whatever. Well, actually, I wasn't 100% sure, so it's professor. Okay.
There was
I
a
was just
joke
trying to
there
play-
that I'm not gonna make.
Yeah, I was trying to play it off, but I actually had no idea. Okay, so I guess you're a professor, but there was the most fucked up meme I saw was like that teacher was like teacher arrested for sex with high school student, and it had like 7,000 likes, and it was like tagged Fire Emblem Three Fates, because there's all the romance in.
Yeah,
Fire
no,
Emblem,
that's
so-
gonna happen for sure.
Yeah, no, it happened in Persona. You can fuck your teacher in
No,
Persona.
I'm. That wasn't sarcastic. I fully think that's gonna happen.
I know. I just like to say out loud, you can fuck your teacher in
As
Persona.
someone who
'cause it's
did
a
fuck
weird-
his teacher in Persona, I think that's gonna happen.
Mhm.
I was hoping you were gonna say someone who did fuck their teacher. Stop.
Just stop there.
Just stop. Sentences
You know how many
that
nerds or just
didn't provide
people in
enough
general would
context.
congratulate you? They'd
I
be like,
think I think you're overestimating the kind of game I was spitting in high school.
Mhm.
Well, we didn't say what teacher it was.
Yeah, no, that
yeah,
was
no.
the shop
my-
teacher with 8 fingers.
I was really gonna say the shop teacher. Giving them some wood.
Why is the go-to the shop teacher? We're both like, who's repulsive?
Because giving them the wood.
Oh, there's so many layers to that.
They put his classroom in the basement. Who does that to a person?
Someone who wants to get some wood.
Sawdust off his dick. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, Fire Emblem. That's right.
Nearly.
Um,
We're talking about dicking
killed
down the
myself
shop
on this
teacher.
LaCroix.
Keep up.
So let me throw this to you, Fish. Fish. So you never played a Fire Emblem game before, despite our
Mhm.
ramblings. Did you have
Yeah.
a chance to? If you didn't have a chance to watch the video, that's fine. Did you see anything on the Fire Emblem coverage that
I
piqued
did.
your interest? Did you?
No.
Okay.
No.
No. Didn't pique your interest. Okay.
Didn't.
Harsh
Yeah.
critic. Well, why? Tell me why.
I don't know. I guess that story just looks very complicated, and I don't know if it's tied into like previous games or not, or if the games actually stories or characters carry on to different games and stuff like that. Like I've really never followed that series, so I don't really want to play a game necessarily that I have no affinity for, so it didn't pique my interest.
Huh. I'll say it piqued my interest. I love the Fire Emblem gameplay. I will say two things. I want to see what you guys think of this. One, Into the Breach ruined all strategy games, and it makes me sad. It just did. And secondly, as I've grown older, as much as the iconic Fire Emblem characters are, they kind of all look like when I was a kid, I had one of those art books. I was like, how to draw anime characters. Like all the Fire Emblem characters look so generic, but
It's a very old style.
yeah, I don't know if that's just my taste changing or me just being too cynical. Maybe I'll start playing it and really like it. But there's just something about the look of those characters that's like,
Yeah,
just
there were
so-
like 2 or 3 that stood out, and a lot of the rest of them really didn't from everything they showed
Yeah.
there.
There's a
Edelgard.
certain generic level to them. Like and Fire Emblem will always have those recognizable characters, and then I think just fade the rest into the background.
yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, what's
Not
later-
on purpose. I just think that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, I think one of the things that like I love Fire Emblem. I love that style. You know, it's well documented that I love Shining Force, and I've grown to love Fire Emblem. But one of the things I've never really liked about both of those series, admittedly, is you get all these characters, and then you have to end up picking just like 12 out of all of them, or 15 or 16, whatever the cap is.
Mm-hmm.
And then there might be some that you do want to play with, you know, like Rich is saying, some of them are, you know, just forgettable characters, and you just throw into the headquarters and you're like, whatever, you know, forget about them. But like, there are times too where you want to play as more than what's allotted to you, and you're unfortunately capped on that. And I've always disliked that about those strategy games, and I just feel like with newer strategy games, they kind of solve that problem. You know, Into the Breach, you know, you have your crew, and that's your set crew, and whether or not you're attached to the pilots or the mechs is irrelevant. I mean, like, you're not sitting there wondering, oh well, fuck, I would like to use this guy, but you know, I'm capped out. Or even with a Wargroove, which is a game that Josh and I'll talk about later, it solves that same issue. You know, like, there are 8 different commanders you can play as, and you get to play as them all, and you're never like thinking, well, shit, I would rather play as a different character, or I'd rather have a different character in my squad. And so there's a level of archaic feeling with, you know, Fire Emblem and those older style of tactics games. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, that's true. There's some things about Fire Emblem that need to evolve, but it's still a must try for me, at least. I'll say that. Definitely gonna play.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for it. I'm actually a little bit glad that it's delayed, because like since the beginning of the year, I feel like there's just been game after game, and so I'm actually glad it's delayed, so we have a little bit of
I
breathing
think I need a
room.
little time before I'm ready for a Fire Emblem.
I mean, and this direct basically cleared up any doubts anyone would have had that 2019 would not be a killer year for the Switch.
Yeah.
Because this is a hell of a lineup.
It's true.
Are you gonna buy a Switch for Fire Emblem, Shea? Is that gonna be the one? What are you gonna do?
You know, it's not just going to be Fire Emblem. I've been waiting to buy a Switch, you know, for a little while there last year. I was really getting hyped to want to buy it, about a year and a half ago. I've been waiting for there to be enough of a roster, game-wise, for it to be justified me making that purchase, and I've honestly been waiting for the next generation of Switch to where it has a longer battery life. That's been the other big thing for me. Battery life is such a huge thing for me. Like when I'm buying a phone, you know, buying a
Vibrator.
laptop, you know, anything really. And with the Switch, I know that the first generation kind of has a slower
it's not
battery
really an
life. so I've
issue
just
for
been waiting.
vibrators. Most of those shut off after 20 minutes for health reasons. Just to stop you
Baby,
from
I only
numbing
need 2
yourself and
minutes with a
hurting,
vibrator.
you know, causing
Fucking
an injury.
FDA, man.
Yeah.
I'm old school. Dildo. Who needs batteries? So, and I will Fuck Edelgard. Put that. Rich, mark it down. Edelgard. Getting fucked. He's writing it down. There he goes.
Guard.
Thank you. Uh-huh. And we can draw a little picture if you need to.
The important things in life.
So I remember 10:58 p.m.
We're gonna make a baby. Morgengard. That
and
sounds
it is
cool.
the 15th.
Morgengard. Okay. So Fire Emblem looks great. So anything else? Fish, was there anything besides Zelda that caught your eye? We can't talk about Zelda yet. It's like Voldemort. You're not allowed to say it. Anything that caught your eye that was not Zelda?
That Platinum game.
Astral Chain.
Astral
Yes.
Chain.
Yeah, that looked interesting. It's a action style type of RPG type of game. New IP from the creators of Nier Automata and
not really Nier. It's not the creative people behind.
It's not
Nier.
Yoko Taro or anything like that.
No.
Oh yeah,
It's Platinum Games.
right. Yeah, people who also made, I guess, Bayonetta as well. That looked interesting. Like, it definitely shows, that like all the action sequences in that game are very much in the vein of a Platinum game, as far as like where the camera's at and directing towards the action in that game. So it seemed very familiar, but like it was also, I guess, something new from them as far as like just being this weird type of like you're a cop, I guess, in this game. And it looks like there's two people that are playing. I don't know how that's going to play out as far as like if you just want to play the game by yourself. Is that second
and they
character?
did comment on that would work into the combat, controlling both characters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious if like you could play that with a friend or not. But it looked interesting.
Okay. Yeah, it does. The characters look a little, but the actual combat.
Anime?
Yeah, but like like the plain kind of anime. But yeah, but I mean, Platinum is tricky because they worked in conjunction with. Sorry, I'm dying over here. Yoko Taro to help make Nier so incredible, but they also have some weird games on their resume, like that weird Ninja Turtle game and stuff. So it's not like Platinum is 100%. But
don't talk to me about that Ninja Turtle game. I get sad.
Yeah. So, but I agree with you, Fish. It's interesting. Okay. Shea, was there anything that caught your attention, non-Zelda related, from the Nintendo Direct that we have not discussed?
Very, very briefly. I didn't look too much into it. That I don't know if you guys already mentioned it. That R-rated game that just got announced. I can't remember what it's called, or the mature rated game at least. What the fuck is that called?
That's very vague.
I can't remember what it's called now.
Can you
just like the screenshots of it looked pretty good. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Assassin's Creed 3.
Yes, that's no. I'm surprised they're remaking that. To be honest with you, like out of all the Assassin's
it was somebody's
Creed
rainy
games,
day project.
Yeah.
I have a theory that like the reason why they're remaking that one is because it has to deal with the colonial U.S. and
my theory was that they told somebody to remake Black Flag and they misheard them, and by the time they checked in on them again, they were halfway done with remaking 3.
Oh shit! You said Assassin's Creed 4.
There's a non-0% chance that is exactly what happened.
Non-0% chance.
All my experience with game developers tell me that that's exactly what happened.
That's good. Well, Shea looks that up. I can't think of anything too, like a lot of Dragon Quest, a lot of
Oh yeah, Dragon Quest. I'm actually excited to finally finish that when they put it on the Switch because it looks so much better than the version I already paid $60 for.
Yeah, that's fuck. Come on, Rich, don't do that. Don't buy it again. Don't do it.
I swear. Like this is the point where this is being recorded, and I should say I swear I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do the exact opposite. I promise you, I will do that.
Well, at least you're on it. That's all that matters.
There's once they showed me that they're putting in the 3DS version aspects that we didn't get here, like the graphic swapping between the 3DS versions and the full console versions. Like, oh, you had me. Those sprites look so good.
Well, I honestly,
We just
That was
talked
what we were
about
talking
that.
about.
God damn it, Shay, are you paying attention? We talked about it for 10 minutes.
That was what Fish was talking about.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about re-releasing
okay, yeah.
Hellblade.
Oh,
Well, I
man,
couldn't
I'm
remember
sorry.
the name. That's why I said I couldn't remember the name. I didn't know it was Astral Chain.
Mm.
I didn't hear you guys mention it. It might have been the lag in my stream. I didn't hear that.
Okay,
So.
all right. I was just giving you shit. Yeah, that was the game,
Yeah.
Fish. That's the
That's
Platinum
okay.
games.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's
Just from the
okay.
screenshots I've seen.
It's no big deal, Fish. When you talk, Shay generally just kind of falls asleep. You have a very peaceful voice.
Yeah,
It's very
Morgan, that's it.
relaxing.
That's
That's
right.
probably it.
He has a
That's right.
relaxing voice.
It soothes the fuck out of me.
He does.
The best Final Fantasy is on the Switch now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was something they announced, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The
Wait,
rich
no,
get richer.
they have 7 and 9 on there now.
Well, seven not yet, but 9's there
Oh.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, Fish, the best one isn't on there. Me and Fish agree. It's not.
Yeah, 9's on there. I hear you.
We just said that.
Come on, Fish. I'm leaving. I'm setting you up to defend. What is it? You're my teammate here.
Nah.
Look, I don't think Final Fantasy
probably
8
He's
is a
just
bad
sitting there
game.
like, if you want a piece of this ass, you're gonna say something about that.
You defend Squall, damn it.
Mhm.
I feel like
You're gonna
I'm like getting
you're gonna
picked on.
sit
in
there
this-
and let him talk about me that way?
That's our dynamic. I'm getting picked on, and Fish just kind of goes, "Meh, not worth it." I could help him, but why not?
Does it ever
You
feel-
literally just spent like 30 seconds picking on me, so I can see that.
it was just playful. I mean,
I know, but you're bitching about the same thing you just did. I'm playing. We're playing.
play the game?
Right?
How dare you play the game? Nobody play the game.
No one plays it but me.
It's literally my job to play the game.
That's true. Hopefully, ours kind of as well.
Mhm.
Part-time job. So on that note, I guess we can kind of get right into it. Let's. We've waited long enough. Whew, and we got a lot of comments to get to. By the way, every Thursday, in this case it was a Wednesday because I wanted to get on that direct hype. But every Thursday on the @SwordChomp Instagram, if you don't follow it, you should. We do a question of the week, and we grab some of our favorite comments to read and discuss on the show. But the big one was mostly about the announcement of course, Link's Awakening. The remake, the original Game Boy game, is coming to the Switch. And it's being remade. Josh is conducting with his arms. I can see him going all over the place. There was a nice, like, anime-style cutscene. It was really dramatic. Everyone was watching the stream, like, oh, shit, it's Zelda. And then they showed the gameplay. That's where things got interesting. And we have some polls about that, too. I dropped some emergency polls on that as well. All right. So, first of all, just going to kind of go around. Josh, how do you feel about when you saw this, about the trailer? You know, what was your sort of immediate thought?
My immediate thought is that I kind of miss the original music from that opening cutscene, which is just awesome because it's got like this really, really cool intro to the, Zelda adventure theme that, kind of leads through that storm there. That was missing. They didn't have any music until they actually got to the island, which was
I think that's what threw me off.
better thematically, but still, I really missed that music. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be in the game, but it just wasn't in the promotional trailer because of
Maybe.
they didn't want to give it away. Like they're trying to keep the drama of the trailer. So you're saying there's some music in there that leads into the Okay.
Yeah, the intro to that is like specifically related to that storm is one of the better Zelda tracks in the entire series.
Which is a bold statement because there's very few Zelda tracks that are not fucking phenomenal. But I do have to agree with you. It's one of those, and again, like I could see what Morgan's saying, and I think I almost kind of agree with that. I don't know for sure, but I feel like they purposefully removed it to sort of like take the wind out of the sails, so you wouldn't immediately know what you're
they were
looking
showing.
at. Yeah.
Yeah, watching it was exciting. So yeah, what's your quick pitch before we go round robin here, Josh? What's your excitement level for this after seeing the trailer? On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you at?
A 7. It looked good.
Okay.
It looked good. They basically remade it. For everything they showed, it looks like it's going to play exactly the same as the original release. From what they showed, like screens were identical. So it looks like it's basically just a graphical overhaul that will play identically, at least from what they showed us.
I'm curious about what you think there, Josh, because I did notice one thing that I think is a significant difference, and I could be mistaken. It looked to me like the shield was passive, which it was not in the original Awakening.
Well, they've got enough buttons now that it doesn't have to be its own item now. Like
it was.
and
it
that was always
a
an
necessity
issue.
on the GBA.
Yeah,
on the,
like
on
you
the
were
Game Boy rather.
You were kind of. Yeah, it was always an issue because really you always wanted the shield, you always wanted the sword, but there were 2 buttons, so you could never have both.
Yeah.
So hopefully those 2 will be just constantly there, and then you'll have buttons for other items. So, I mean, hopefully it's not identical, because there was a lot of going into menus to switch items.
You ever watch people do a speed run of that game? Like the item swapping alone, like it's like we're playing a different game. It's insane.
Yeah, just adding a few more buttons on there will, like, really, they could remake the game identically, but just having more item buttons will speed up the game so much.
Oh yeah,
it'll completely change the pacing, not having to be in the menu constantly.
You never have too many buttons. We love buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Fish, I saw you leaning forward. I know you had something to say about Zelda. I could see you lurching toward the mic.
Yeah. No, I kind of agree with Josh as far as like the music goes. Like, I'm excited for. I really hope that that Ballad of the Windfish. They kind of take a new, fresh take on that that soundtrack there, because that was a shining. I guess moment in that game when you finally get to collect all the pieces of the instruments, having only heard that instrument's part in the song, and then finally rewarded with that song at the very end. So I'm very curious to see if they take it to another level or what. I'm not sure, but I really hope they don't like just keep the original in there, and I doubt they would. So that's something that I'm really excited for alone for this game, as far as me playing it. So
you want like a remaster or like a reimagining of that soundtrack, but still keeping the same melodies and everything.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay. Well, it seems like we hit the major thoughts. Shea, how are you in part? I mean, that was the big one. How are you feeling about it?
I'm mixed. Actually, Link's Awakening was one of the few Zelda games I played and I really got into. I actually still have it lying around somewhere, boxed up in a box in my parents' attic. And it was a really good game, and I have a lot of memories with it. And seeing the art style, it was, I don't know, parts of it are really enticing, and then parts of it just don't do anything for me. Like we talked about it privately, the whole chibi-esque look just really doesn't do anything for me. And it makes it seem like it's trying to pander more to the younger audiences, like children. And I don't know, like, I don't think that any game should ever take itself too seriously. That, like, when it's not warranted. Like, you look at something like Hellblade, sure, it should take itself seriously. But you look at something like Zelda, I don't think it should ever take itself too seriously. But that's just, like, when you imagine an art style of it when it's remade or remastered, that's not what I imagined at all. So, for me, it's hard to get excited for it, to play it again with an art style that doesn't do anything for me, I guess. I mean, the core gameplay is still there, and that still makes it a good game. That still makes it you probably should play this game. But art style is such a big thing in something like a Zelda game. So I don't know.
Yeah, there was a one scene in that trailer where like they zoomed in onto that owl that you talked to in the forest, and I swear to God, it I had flashbacks of Blathers from Animal Crossing. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So fucking weird.
And that's actually a really good point, Fish. It almost seems samey, like to a lot of other Nintendo IPs in a way. Like
it's this weird inoffensive look, I guess is the way to put it, where like it doesn't hold up to the sprite work. It's nothing that's gonna blow you away. And if it wasn't something that was such a known quantity to me that I know this is a fantastic game, I might not take a second look at it.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with the art style is, like I was saying, it looks like they are essentially trying to make a 1-to-1 remake of it. Like the screens were literally identical. Like, so because of that, they have to make a Link that is essentially a cube in order for hitboxes and everything to make it play and feel the same.
And I'm sure that's limiting.
Yeah, they're essentially stuck making a 3D Zelda that on screen fills up the exact same space as the original Game Boy sprite.
Which is weird, because I think if they would have just kept the general, like, if it wasn't shot for shot, but almost like 90% the same, you know what I mean? Maybe the proportions were off. I think people would still love it if they took a, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm sure it's going to be different, because there's no reason to have screens.
Different degree of care.
Like, from what they showed, there weren't screens, because the Game Boy had such a small pixel count.
This hard cut.
Yeah, there were no moving screens. Like, it was all...
You were just on a grid.
Yeah.
You know, there's one thing to consider. Maybe, like, just a trailer is just showing, like, the shot-for-shot aspect of it to, you know, just to entice the fans, but maybe it's going to be different, too. You know, like, that's also a possibility. Yeah. You know, you look at...
We won't know until we see more.
All the stuff with Resident Evil 2 when they were hyping it. That it wasn't a 1-to-1... Or it was very similar. They showed a lot of 1-to-1 screenshots, but when you play Resident Evil 2, the remake, they reworked a lot of stuff in there, and it made the game feel really fresh and worthy of a remake. And this might be the same scenario.
Totally.
I'm sure there will be additional dungeons, because they added additional dungeons when they remade it on the Game Boy Color.
And that's DX,
it just... Historically, the remakes of this game add a little bit of something to it.
And for sure the DX content's there. I'd be shocked if the DX content was stripped.
Yeah, even though that wasn't the best dungeon ever, there's no way they'd remove the DX content. And I have to imagine
make sense too.
That just because of the pedigree there, they'd kind of want to flex and add in at least one more dungeon, just like the first remake did.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, it just, like... To bring it back, it's just hard to get really excited for this game. Like the basic premise is there, and that basic premise is awesome. And I understand like the graphical limitations with something like a Game Boy Color, but to me, in that scenario, the less is more approach of that game works so well in a graphical and artistic direction sense. And the fact that they've kind of, granted, it's their own IP, but they've taken this different art direction just really, really... I don't know why. It just... Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get past it, and I know it's kind of a silly thing, but
for me, it's essentially the same art direction they've gone with the last couple DS games, which I think doesn't really stand out that much, because I kind of feel like they're trying to get away from the obvious... Let's use cell shading, because they can accomplish so much and make it really ridiculously charming, but anytime they do that, you're obviously immediately getting comparisons to the Wind Waker.
Naturally.
Yeah, and that I think that they're trying to avoid that, and because they're trying so hard to avoid it, they're... Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel like
it feels like they're going the opposite direction and making everything samey. It just feels like art direction-wise, a lot of the Nintendo... games that have come out recently, to me, and I understand there can be a difference in opinion, that a lot of it just feels very similar art direction wise, and it feels like they're just like taking the same guy and moving into different games and different IPs, and it's like, all right, make this, all right, make this, all right, make this.
And that's all the tie back to Super Smash Brothers.
Well, I mean, that's the thing there. Like, I got my hopes up with that completely animated intro,
Yeah,
which
me
was
too.
essentially using the same key art that the original one did.
And that looked amazing.
It did. It looked amazing.
It did.
It
It
kind
really
of got my
did.
hopes up. As much as I didn't really enjoy the game itself, the art style from Skyward Sword is something we need to see again. Like, I would love to see them take that watercolor approach to a Zelda game again. Like, that would have been a perfect fit for something like this.
Yeah. Well, it's
Go ahead, Morgan.
sorry. You guys have a lot of. Every time I go to say something, you guys are saying something, but it's mostly what I'm thinking. So it's good. You guys are saying a lot of things I agree with. I was just gonna say that it's odd to me because by having sort of an animated style intro, that even though they're trying to move away from that style, it seems like a natural fit. And the thing that's frustrating me is the Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks had a great style to them, but they were really limited by the DS hardware. Like, I was just like imagining how beautiful this game would look in that cart. And like, I don't know why I feel like all Zelda games should look kind of cartoony. And now I sound like the devil. But
do you carry a torch for the Wind Waker?
I do. That was the one that made me fun. But objectively, think about it. The Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild are the most gorgeous looking Zelda games, right? So
Objectively.
And that's
I just it works.
they're some of the best looking.
For
like
sure.
to kind of Josh's and your point, if they were to use that same art style for this one, then you run the risk of that feeling samey in itself. Like, part of the reason why
it's the Switch
watercolor
tie-in
games
to this other game
are so charming is because it's so few and far in between because of how much work goes into making a game look like a watercolor game. And the one thing that I know, like, I haven't always been as heavily involved as, say, Josh or Rich in the Legend of Zelda franchise, or IP direction, whatever you want to call it. One of the things that I've always noticed is each game, or like two games, in between those, they always change the art direction to make it feel different. And I understand you have only so many options to do that. And like, there are exceptions, like you look at Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, they largely look the same in terms of art direction.
And those are in terms of them almost being like the idea of Majora's Mask is so directly tied to Ocarina, and it was almost like
right.
It's the same engine.
The idea
they spit it out in a year. And
right, exactly.
They just rehashed assets because they're like, listen, we poured so much into creating these assets, we can make a whole nother game out of them. And so they did.
Right.
And there's something to that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, I guess in a way, this is a new art direction for Zelda, but it feels like one that doesn't fit the Zelda world at the end of the day. To me.
The thing to me is, it feels like it doesn't fit the Zelda world in the fact that it's unremarkable, which is something that you don't really ever say about Zelda.
Exactly. It's cute, but it's not remarkable.
And this is an issue, like I mentioned this before, that with their handheld releases, they've essentially gone with upscaled pixel art. Is kind of been the thing. Like, you look at like A Link Between Worlds, which was amazing. That was a great game, but it was essentially trying as much as possible to look exactly like A Link to the Past.
Yes.
Just 3D. And this, I feel like that's exactly what they're doing here. Let's try as much as possible to make this look exactly like Link's Awakening, but 3D.
And that has to come from a fear of not wanting to offend any of the original. I imagine that comes from a fear of not wanting to offend the loyal fans.
But it's so hard to offend me.
I know. Like,
I don't know.
Well, I will say this.
That being said, it's not bad. It's just not unique.
Unremarkable.
Is the issue.
Well, there's a lot of comments from I don't want to cut you guys off, but we have a lot of comments from listeners, and you guys can respond to those too. But I got one word for you guys. Tunic. Have you guys seen the art style for Tunic? It's like, it's sort of closer to what Josh is talking about. And maybe Nintendo saw that. Well, it's probably in development for too long to say that they try to avoid that. But Tunic is kind of copying Zelda almost ridiculously so, and yet it has even that has more.
I've played builds of Tunic, and Tunic's a really well put together game, but you know what? I hadn't even connected those, but yeah, there is a distinct similarity there.
Yeah, and it's like ridiculously strong looking, just as far as like an isometric perspective, looking down at it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like more work should have gone into making this game look good from the original angle that the game was from, because like even in
sprite work or
no, like, well, I mean, they could have just gone ahead and just, you know,
Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, done something like that.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
That would have been amazing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how cool that would?
But I mean, even just making the models read a little bit better from top down, because I don't know if you noticed, in a lot of the cutscenes, the camera will zoom in on people so you can actually see animations and stuff. So it looks like they're going to put more effort into those conversations. And but I don't know. Like, just anyway.
Tell me if you guys disagree. Yes, let's move on. This is the last thing I'll say, and you guys don't have to respond to this if you don't want to, but I'll just say that it's not a cheap game, but that art direction can sometimes come off cheap because there are a lot of low budget games that use a similar style because of their limitations. And that is tricky because I don't think it's going to be a cheap game. Obviously, Nintendo, the fidelity looks incredible, but
and the thing to me is, I don't necessarily think the strongest points of Link's Awakening in particular are the art.
I mean, it was a Game Boy game. Yeah,
but when you look at the narrative of that game, it's so important even now because it's a thing that would never happen now. It's that game's storyboard is like the result of a bunch of people sitting in a dimly lit room, chain smoking and watching Twin Peaks.
That sounds like a fun night.
It's just a different era of like, they're like, we're gonna put whatever the fuck we want in here, like just all the weird shit going on for this dreamscape. Like there's Chain Chomps, Yoshi's there, Kirby's there, just all these things that are immediately meant to draw your attention towards something's not right here.
Yeah,
and weird conversations with the townsfolk. It's so good.
Well, you guys spoiled the game for me, so now I know what's going on. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
It's only 100 years old. All right, so some good comments to get to. Let's see. Donald K. Hogan said, it does not immediately appeal to me. Honestly, doesn't do much at first glance to visually differentiate itself from the numerous clones in the mobile and portable gaming spaces. Maybe getting my hands on it will help it, though. Fair. And all these comments are about the Nintendo Direct as well, too. So, let's see. Lizzie Mueller said, our good friend Lizzie _Mueller said, Tetris Battle Royale is both the most hilarious and genius thing I've ever seen. So, that was like a shocking moment for a lot of people.
Yeah, I instantly downloaded that as soon as I knew it was real. Like, that is...
Yeah, it's not a joke. This is a real thing.
Yeah, just instant download. Like, there's... Yeah. Such a cool idea.
I was gonna drop a bomb on Rich, so I'll wait till he comes back because you guys will laugh. Let's see. Naaman said Astral Chain caught me off guard. Goes to show Nintendo finally is adding mature content while staying grounded with their usual IPs. That word mature, that big one. That's what Shea called it, the mature game.
I don't know about it finally, because they've had a deal with Platinum for several years now. But since nobody bought the Wii U. Yeah. New people
and they've had and they've had Resident Evil games and stuff on there before, but I get what he's saying.
Yeah,
you know, not every there's a lot on there that's kid centric. Let's see. Andy Yerd said we're gonna see another Zelda title in maybe 3 to 4 years, just considering how big games will be now. They stick to Breath of the Wild format, but I wouldn't be opposed to past games coming to the Switch like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, etc. You know, one of the biggest crimes to me is that you can't get the Wind Waker HD remake on the Switch. That seems unfair because you have to have a Wii U for that thing. And that was a really great game. I'm trying. Let's see. There's a lot here. Man, we got some really passionate comments about that art style. This is gonna get fun, so I'm kind of building up to it. Hurricane Colt said the new Platinum game Astral Chain was my MVP, and seeing Bloodstained having a release date.
Yeah.
Release window.
Well, yeah, release window.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very, very vague release window.
Yeah, the gameplay they showed actually looked really good too. Like, yeah, they're getting there. It looked a little rough for the first couple, demos and stuff that they showed, but it's starting to look pretty impressive. So.
And Ritual of the Night kind of reinvigorated.
Yeah.
Was my spirit like they know what they're doing because.
Yeah. That was good.
Like, this is supposed to be, hey, we're doing Symphony of the Night, and they sure as fuck did Castlevania 3.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I was playing that with. They released it. I'm a backer for Bloodstained, and like all of a sudden they just kind of shipped out codes for that. It's like, hey guys, like here's this other thing that you got, and I didn't even pay attention. I'm like, oh, I'll turn this on. I was just sitting there with Fish one day, like let's see what this joke of a game is. And it was fucking good.
Yeah,
it was like hey, good.
We got bored and we made Castlevania 3. Here you go.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like this free tie-in that you got if you were a backer, and it was good.
And they put it out immediately for non-backers too. When they were just like, hey, $10, here's this thing, and I was like, yeah, what the hell?
Yeah,
that is cool. Our good friend Sector 7 Item Shop said, "Someone get me a towel," implying that she was either crying or I don't know something else. So I said, because you're crying? Because it looks so bland? To which she said, shut up. It's cute. So that's where it ended. Let's see here. Oh, a couple go. A lot of people are like, Ishhead said, what are you talking about? It looks fantastic. There's some that really surprised. So our good friend Headquarters, I'll give him a shout out here because even though I disagree with him, there's a lot of passion here. Link's Awakening is my favorite Legend of Zelda game. I am elated. I love the enemy cutscenes, and the art direction looks beautiful. Fuck any other game coming out this year. Well, that's all extreme, but hey. I've played every release of the Game Boy version, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. And it didn't specifically address he said it looks beautiful. The art direction looks beautiful. Okay, that's my thing I would say. I have a lot of respect for Headquarters and a lot of people that are excited about this, but I'm not sure if I'd use the word beautiful.
Maybe he meant to say bland and it auto-corrected.
I don't know. Like, it was weird. Like, in some spots, the art direction looked better. Like, I don't know if you noticed that.
I think the environments look better than the character models.
Like the water and stuff?
Yeah, because... Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like there's a lot going on there that, the character models are the so least remarkable part. That... Yeah, like you kind of need something else going on there. And like the bright overworld lighting wasn't doing it as many favors as like some of the other zones they showed.
I'm telling you, there's going to be 2 layers of twist now that you guys have told me the first one. And it's going to be like, because everyone's saying it looks like a toy, very smooth and plastic. It's going to pan back at the very end. It's going to be like the Lego movie, where Will Ferrell was like a real human breaking the fourth wall. And it's going to be like, Miyamoto playing with his Zelda toys.
Well, way to spoil the Lego movie for everyone.
Yeah, sorry. You should. I thought that was like one of the most geniusly silly and ridiculous ideas, but I thought it was cool they went for it. That's the kind of thing that would make me go, oh my shit. Like if they were saying no, they couldn't say it's about toys because it makes no sense. That's what's weird. It looks like a toy, but it's not really about toys. That's weird, right? All right. Anyways.
And at the end of this podcast, it zooms out and it's me playing with action figures of you guys.
Oh, this is actually.
Oh, Dark Helmet, you're so tall and strong.
Knock on my door.
Oh man. Let's see here. Just a couple other quick ones. This comment I had to read. With all due respect to Christina, she said, "Not my favorite style. I kind of hate the look of the toonish Zelda games. I'm always a fan of playing them nonetheless. Except Wind Waker. I hate that one. What?
Thank you. Next."
What's going on here? What is this?
Wow, what a wrong opinion.
Oh, there's no such thing as a wrong opinion, but that one is wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I'm not even gonna tag her because I'm not gonna tag her in the podcast.
Whew.
She can't know that exists.
DMs are open.
Okay. Ralph is fat said he's expecting a Persona game to be announced. Didn't happen.
I never would have expected that. We're gonna get a Persona games are announced with like vague JPEGs 6 years after the last game.
Yep. Okay, I can't read them all, so let's just do one more. Kilty Gamer said, "Huh? I mean, that's a great choice for a Zelda remake. It's an amazing game, but the style seems a little lazy, like the Secret of Mana remake. If they had redone it in the Breath of the Wild engine, it would have been."
Yeah, that's another one that...
The Mana remake looked real...
Oh, God. The pixel art on that game was some of the best of the generation, and then they did that to it.
And they put out a remake of Secret of Mana right after they released the SNES Classic, where you could play the real version of it.
Like the real thing. And then they gave you that.
And you're like, there you go.
This isn't that bad. It's
no.
Yeah, it's not on that level at all. But
that also might be in part.
I feel you though.
There's not a lot of great ways to play Link's Awakening otherwise either.
Yeah, it hasn't had a release since the Game Boy Color.
Just like, I gotta suffer through this horrible. I will say this is the thing I'm the most proud of, and it makes me feel like an asshole because I was forced to trick Chomp Nation this week, and I'm not proud of it. All right, I'm not proud of it. Okay,
I'm pretty proud.
I am pretty proud. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I have Link's Awakening digitally on my 3DS, so that's a solid way to play that.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to play it on the 3DS because they stopped supporting they stopped supporting those cartridges before you could get it digitally.
Anyways, about tricking people. Sorry, Shea, I don't want to cut you off. What I did was with the 2 emergency polls, I said the first poll was, what do you think of the style in general? It's controversial. I was surprised. It came back 67%. Let's just round that up. 70% of the audience said they thought it was adorable and they loved it. That surprised me. Zelda fans are very nice. And then the next question was, it looks like a pop figurine. Those horrible Funko Pops. And 77% of the audience agreed. So basically what they're saying is that they like the look of the pop figurines. And I thought those things were condemned by humanity. Well, am I alone in this?
They should be condemned by humanity. You know when Funko Pops, when I condemned them? When they released the Mega Man line and I had to look at Mega Man's dead eyes. And I just couldn't do it anymore.
That was the straw that broke the Funko back.
That being said, I do see the narrative line they're connecting there. Like, yeah, they do kind of look like Funko Pops.
Just on a scale reason, like the size of the head compared to everything else. Yes,
it's the eyes.
But yeah,
the smooth toy look, the dead eyes.
Like, really, I think the idea of collectible bobbleheads of nerdy things isn't a horrible idea. But whoever decided that's how we're gonna make all their eyes, someone needs to,
But guys, remember when they announced
from all of recorded history?
Remember when they announced the Gears of War Funko Pop game? Everybody loved that.
It needs to be like in the Handmaid's Tale when they burn all the books. Everyone's just burning every book in civilization.
Like every mention of this human being's name, whoever decided that's how we're going to do the eyes of Funko Pops, just completely remove them from...
Every morning,
Jim Funko.
I wake up and I
Funko.
How you doing, Jim Funko? His eyes look like that, like he's a human man with these. What do you mean?
We feel really bad. We're like, oh my god, that's what he looked like now.
Yeah, it's called Funko syndrome.
Funko syndrome.
Oh fuck.
You ever see that? Or like, that's how bad you know you have a bad disease, and the doctor's like, you got a disease. It's pretty rare. And like, how rare, doc? He's like, you get to pick the name.
Oh, that's great. I've never had a funny doc.
So how rare? Congratulations.
You're the only one with it. Oh man, that art style. It's fun though because that thing turns some. They must have known they were going to turn some heads with that thing for better or worse. So it's interesting.
It was all Reggie's idea.
But I want to say thank you for everyone who commented. Like I said, every Thursday we'll have more of those. Our community means the world to us. Even if we read your comment and we playfully poke fun at you, we respect everyone's opinions, except that one girl who said talk shit about Wind Waker.
And again, my DMs are open.
Yes, Rich's DMs are open. We
can hash this out.
And if you want to support us, if you're not too mad at us, go to patreon.com/swordchomp. Again, patreon.com/swordchomp. Look for the VIP tier. It's got rare videos, pictures, inside jokes about Fish's Valentine's Day that you don't want to miss. It's a great compliment to the show. So it was a great direct. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're going to move on. But first, a word from a man giving us a word about our sponsor.
Okay. First sponsor, this ad has been brought to you by Two Girls, One Mic, the Porncast, starring the hosts Yvette and Alice. They discuss everything porn-related, delving deep into multiple subjects, such as reviewing films, discussing the industry, and topics that are porn sex adjacent. They are often joined by guests on the show. Actually, the one I most recently listened to was them interviewing film director Leroy Myers. They have even gotten Tom Arnold onto the show to discuss who's Nailin Palin. I know I'm not. They have a great rapport and are and are hilarious. and they're hilarious.
It's a great ad read.
I highly recommend giving them a listen. Honestly. I mean that. They're really funny. And they're really knowledgeable. They actually have multiple science degrees. But go ahead and check them out at twogirls1mic.com. And their Twitter handle is 2girls1micpod. So thank you, Yvette and Alice, for this sponsorship for this episode.
Thank you.
It's a great name. That's a great name for a podcast. Surprised that. How's that not taken? That's a good one.
I can tell you I'm going to actually subscribe to that because that sounds fucking fascinating.
No.
I've been thinking a lot about Battle Royale games this week because of
Like
Apex
Tetris.
Legend. Like Tetris, Apex Legend. I'm doing a lot of the weird Red Dead Royale thing, Gun Rush, and I did a poll about Apex Legend that we can talk about as well. So we talked about Apex Legends a lot already, but it's still the hot thing right now. We haven't got your opinion, of course, Rich. Do you have what's your hot take on Apex Legends?
I like Apex Legends, which is nuts. I like Titanfall a lot, which is what made me want to try this in the first place. And I sort of delved into plenty of other battle royales. I think this is so fleshed out in the right ways, though. There's so many really great quality of life things in there. Like, for example, I don't want to talk to anyone. Apex Legends does not feel the need to make me. Like, there is a prompt for everything, and I fucking love that. I love the concept of a jump master because I hate making decisions.
But you can be the jump master. It can be
and
you.
I can hold a button to relinquish it as well.
We're learning a lot about you, Rich.
Yeah. There's I'll be the jump master if I'm playing with people I know, but if I'm with strangers, I'm just like after you.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot going on in there. The shooting feels tight. It feels like Titanfall in a lot of the right ways, minus wall running and Titans. I really like it. This might be the battle royale to dethrone Fortnite, I think.
Yeah.
For you, or do you think like
accurate
for
I think that's an accurate
general
statement because I know that tens of millions of people logged on the first week it was released, and I know it's I was looking at Twitch, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. It has over it normally has about 250,000 people streaming it at one time. That doesn't even count the viewership. So yeah. I know it's a huge game
and
right
this
now.
Is the biggest, the smartest thing they did was it's so polished. They didn't put in any sort of beta access or anything like that, which differentiates it from there's still plenty to learn and change, but that's just what happens when you're doing a game as a service. This thing launched ready to go without any major issues, just looking great. It had a good count on the champions, and then the paid legends, I guess I should say, were a little bit more of the experimental ones, and the only real thing it has going against it is the incredibly unremarkable name. It's like EA has never heard of SEO.
Yeah, there's that. What two words can we put in there that are in literally every other game title?
And there is, to my understanding, because I think Apex just rolls off the tongue more, there's an Xbox exclusive racing series called Apex. So maybe that's what stopped this from happening. There hasn't been one of these games in years, but from what I understand, that vernacular, I guess, is still in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, and the thing was Morgan, and for good reason, gave me shit for it. When I heard it was first announced, it was originally being called the Titanfall Battle Royale, and I even think that has a bit of a catchier name than Apex Legends, really, because
Titan Royale.
Yeah, Titan Royale would have been cool, but no, I agree with you, Rich. I think one of the strongest things about this game that it has going for it is it released ready to go. You know, it didn't release in any kind of beta phase, and I think that's what's really selling it for a lot of people. It is tight enough, and it is fun. The slight issues that they had at the beginning, which is they weren't prepared for that many people to play at once, so server issues have mostly been fixed. They've mostly been fixed at this point. And like those are understandable issues at the beginning. Like Pokemon Go, one of the biggest phenomenons we had ever seen a few years ago, had the same issue. So it's
these
it's
are
an
issues
understandable
that,
issue.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand, and kind of it's almost like they forget it every time it happens. The way the internet works is such ramshackled nonsense that it's like, this is gonna happen, and there's no way to fix it until it happens.
Right.
Yeah,
There's
well,
no real way to
I
be
think
prepared.
People forget too is like, oh, it's a free game, but it should fucking work right now because I want it right now.
You can't
like,
start
forget,
up
like,
ready
it's a
for
free
30
game.
million people.
Here's $30. Make me look like Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put that on your gravestone.
Yeah.
I will say this. I've honestly been thinking a lot about this because it's more about personal reflection and taste as opposed to like criticisms. Because like the game itself, for a free game as well, is very well made. The only like actual criticism I have, and I was showing Fish this when I was playing it, is a lot of the textures and like the water and stuff are not super detailed, but it's to be expected. It's a free game. It still looks pretty good.
And it's got a robot that's constantly talking about his grappling hook.
Yes, and that's important. But I think that the reason I'm more in like with it than in love with it is just preference. Like I was telling the guys last week, Rich, that I prefer the lonely battle royales, and I like to take it back to
the
like
PUBG sort of experience. Yeah, I get that.
Yes, yeah, because I like to be alone. I like the other day I saved Fish's ass.
It gives you more time to lie to yourself and pretend you're doing well.
Well,
the one thing I think
everyone else is the problem.
I think the reason people like this game so much is valid. I think it's because it's an iteration on the battle royale. I think it actually loses some of the tension of a battle royale game to me because I'm in a team and like I just looked up. We did a lot of running. All of a sudden there was 3 squads left. I didn't really feel any tension, but I think that's more a result of the team nature of it. For me, I'm not saying
not even necessarily the teams. That's the faster nature of these smaller royales of like they're more closely knit. They push the action in faster. And I get what you're saying. I think they're a different thing, and I have a different appreciation for, say, the PUBG style. Because even in a squad, PUBG takes much longer. It's this sort of slow, methodical. All right, let's wait really carefully and plan our approach kind of battle royale. Like even with a squad of 4 in PUBG. I would always keep in mind, like, settling into a match, like, this could be anywhere from 10 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I saw Fish leaning. I played the other day with Fish, and that's the thing. Like, I saved his ass, and he went down, and the guy basically just put up his shield, and I couldn't hit him because he was against the wall, and his friend came. I couldn't move out to save Fish because the second I stepped out, his friend shot me, and that's the beautiful thing about the game is that you work together as a team. The problem is that that's not necessarily the thing I've enjoyed most about these sorts of games. Like one of the things I really enjoy about the Red Dead Royale is not a pure Royale game. It's like, I think 32 players is the most you can get. I might have to cover your ears for this, Josh. It's my 10 seconds of Red Dead talk.
100 cowboys jump off of a horse.
Well, it's weird because you don't jump out of a plane. You just start. It's more like the beginning of like the Hunger Games.
I thought you were going to start going, you don't jump out of a plane because they haven't been invented yet.
Well, man, if you jump that, I like the...
Why couldn't they do the hot air balloon from that one segment in Red Dead 2? Just cowboys catapulting out of a hot air balloon.
Spoilers. No, but you just start and you run toward the weapons. It kind of has a Hunger Games vibe where like at the beginning of the Hunger Games, everyone runs for that pile of weapons and they all murder each other right at the beginning. You remember that? Where it's a little bit more like that. There's a lot of tension. It's extremely detailed because it's a $60 game. And I think I'm good at it because there's no body armor and stuff like that. If I get the drop on someone, they're dead. Like, a lot of these games, everyone's better than me, so, like, I get the drop on them, it means nothing.
I'm going to let you in on a secret. In all of these games, everyone's better than me. But sometimes they slip up. And that's when you get them.
Yeah. So I guess that's true, and it's just a preference thing. I actually think the one thing I really liked, I was playing Bloodhound, and I had a lot of fun using his ability where you can like see people through walls and shit like that.
Oh yeah. He's the tracker fella.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I'm a fan of Pathfinder because he grappling hooks everywhere.
Have you ever actually been in a situation? This is the thing I don't get. People have all these cool stories, but I've never been in a situation where I've actually fought anyone using a zip line or sliding or anything like that.
It's more in the line of like Pathfinder really works well in certain team settings where it's setting up a grappling hook to sort of reach a good vantage point and kind of get in a good sniper position. And there are plenty of really good long range weapons in Apex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's maybe. Yeah, it's just weird because everyone has these cool stories about killing people from the zip line. And I'm like, I'd never even see how that could happen.
I think
Every time I fight someone,
the most unique thing about this one is that all abilities are essentially friendly fire abilities, where you set up a grappling, you set up a zip line so you can grapple to the other end. Enemies can use it too. You set up like a teleport from one spot to another. Enemies can use it too. Like everything you do has trade-offs in this game, and it works really well because of it. It's not like you push a button and all of a sudden you win. Like it gives you some unique situation that you can put yourself in, and whether or not you can actually take advantage of it.
And the cooldowns are so varied.
Yeah.
Like, whereas like, certain characters have these much more powerful abilities with like ridiculous cooldowns. Whereas, say you're playing as Pathfinder and his lower level ability is just a personal grappling hook, and the cooldown on that is like 9 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Because who cares? You're just grappling to a building.
Well, and that's a good one. And that's the thing. It's all about the team. Like we had a good time with doing some team-based stuff in Fortnite, but that's not the only way to play. This game is designed around playing with friends, and if that experience isn't good for you, then the game probably won't work.
I think duos and solos are for sure coming.
Okay. Solos, I would be interested. That's something I'd be interested in for sure. But I just feel like a lot of the things in the game, like how would the tagging really play into the solo play? You know what I mean? Why would you have to tag anything?
I mean, you wouldn't, but also that's something you want in for the group play. Like, there's no reason to not have it.
No, I'm just saying they've done a lot of smart decisions based around the team stuff. So I just wonder if the single player,
which is why for sure they launched with just the 3-man squads. But I think there's a certain demand for people who want solo play, and so they'll put that in there.
Yeah. It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing. But it feels like the iteration, right? It feels like PUBG and Fortnite were the original, now we're on to phase 2, where people are taking the idea and sort of evolving it. So
yeah, give it a year and Blizzard will release its perfect version of it.
Yeah, that's what they do. Fish, give me your Apex Legends thoughts. Come on, man. We played a couple of rounds together. We had fun. We tagged each other's penises.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't tag yours.
Or
Yours
vaginas.
Fish, do you want to talk to the detective about what Morgan just said?
Where did the man tag you?
No, it's a lot of fun to play that game. Like, I don't know, like it seemed like a year ago we were already down on battle royale games, saying, oh, they're making another battle royale games, and a lot of them have come and gone, and some of them haven't even had their time as far as people playing them and their popularity. But for some reason Apex Legends is very popular, and I guess it's because of that weird 3-man crew that you run around and the different classes that you get. I think that's unique enough in the battle royale situation to I guess pique people's interest and engage them in a way that they haven't been engaged in previous battle royale games. And I find I find all the characters, like they're all well balanced, and no one actually feels overbalanced or overpowered as far as like when you come across them in the game. Like there was one person that like used that teleport thing, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and the enemy made like their little portal, and I was like, oh, a portal, and I ran through it, and it was just a trap essentially for them waiting for the enemy to come through that portal, and they
I
killed
fell through
me.
that one as well.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna fall for that again. So, those classes definitely add a certain deeper level, I guess, as far as like customization and different tactics you could take in a team-based game, and I've enjoyed it so far. I don't know how long it could, how long. I guess it depends on, the respawn at this point to show how much support they're going to show for this game and what they're going to be releasing and coming out with as far as patches go with that
it's
game.
funny you mentioned that, Fish, because one of the polls we did was, is Apex Legends going to be engaging for the long haul? And 71% of our audience said that they think it will be. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just balance-wise, it's already just up there. Like, it feels so good. It allows you to do more based off of skill, which is something a lot of them don't. A lot of them feel super, super random. But yeah, I feel like
It telegraphs everything so well. That's like even if you notice like armor classes and stuff, like you have those rankings where it's like blue, purple, whatever.
Yep.
And when you're shooting someone, like the numbers coming off them telegraph to you what sort of body armor they're wearing. Like just little details like that make it work so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, those are small quality of life things that we appreciate because we're just
the whole
nerds,
thing's so much snappier. Like everything about it.
Yeah,
like
that's the bulk of it, is them watching this genre. They have an understanding for what works and what doesn't work, so they were able to hone in on these like quality of life changes.
Yeah, the menu music's really good too. I love that menu music.
Unfortunately, I have to have Origin on my PC, but
that's the only downside.
Yeah.
Although, and oddly enough, I sent a picture to the guys earlier this week. I downloaded Origin for this game and found out I had 2 other games on there somehow already. I already had
the original Dragon Age.
Yeah, I had Populous and Dead Space 3 on there somehow.
So
just like,
weird.
I don't know why these are
the
here.
Dead Spaces.
Yeah, just like install.
And then
the thing.
Josh fell in love with Dead Space 3. No, I'm just kidding.
Just looking for my co-op partner.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see how that plays out down the road. And I would say to anyone who's like me, who maybe you want something a little more primitive, like the PUBG or like the Red Dead Royale, might be more for you. But I want to team up with Shea and Fish because the game is growing on me. So I'd like to do a full team because when the best round we had, the guy who was leading us around, I feel like he led us into death. So, and Fish was like blindly following this guy, which wasn't a bad idea, but Fish like, let's follow this guy. He knows what he's doing. I'm like, all right, let's follow him. So we just followed him, and he led us right into this like ambush around a rock, and we all died.
I doubt that was on purpose.
No, it wasn't on purpose. Like, he seemed like a good player, but like the last couple squads that were left were working really well as a team. I mean, they threw a smoke down. I went to revive Fish in the smoke, but at a safe angle. The friends were coming around the side. I mean, they just wiped us in like 10 seconds. So
that's just Apex legumes.
Yeah, I feel it. Let's see, a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's get the polls out of the way real quickly here. And we got some other games that you guys want to talk. Wargroove, and I want to ask Rich real briefly about Resident Evil before we call this one good. Before we get to the polls, though, you may notice this a lot on poll day. We have a sponsor. Sword Chomp is sponsored by Sassy D merch. They are good friends of ours, and they make some really incredible stuff. I know you've probably seen it, Rich. It's like erotic gag gifts. Have you seen the penis Pikachu, Rich? Have you seen it?
I have, actually. I have, in fact, seen that.
And once you see it,
it's a product and a half.
It really is. And basically, they make like fun erotic gifts. A lot of their stuff is nerd themed as well. Like they have sort of a Smash Brothers like montage, and they release a new thing. But they do really cool stuff. So they sponsor us, and they're awesome. You should go to @SassyDearMerch on Instagram, give them a follow, order some stuff. They have mugs and all sorts of cool stuff for any of the designs you love. Great guys, Sassy D merch. But so the polls we have this week. So I did this a little selfishly, but I told myself if I ever had a podcast, I had to do this, right? Because nobody out there wants to give Final Fantasy VIII its due love, and it was the 20th anniversary, Rich. Yes, the 20th anniversary of the Japanese release of Final Fantasy VIII this past week. So I did a couple fun polls. I tried to keep them light and silly instead of like Final Fantasy VIII is the best Final Fantasy, or yes or no. Like,
It's a very good one.
That's not. That's not. It's the thing is they're all the PS1 Final Fantasies are great. You know, they connect with us all in different ways. One of the polls was gun blades were impractical but badass.
I don't think they're impractical.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's a sword what you could shoot with.
Mm-hmm. They've only made those occasionally in real life. It's generally not been a thing. It was made for a couple years, and then they realized that they had it backwards, and that it was far more useful to just stick a knife on the end of your gun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually, a lot of people don't know this, but the early, the very start of the Civil War, a lot of generals actually had gun blades, but they were very dangerous, so they got rid of most of them. Especially because they couldn't get the timing right, because you got to hit R1 like right as you're attacking the enemy.
It's typical.
They kept just capping their own horses, just right in the back of the head. It was horrible.
Renzuken!
And you got to know where to grind for the right materials if you want to upgrade the gun blade. So it was a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't have a subscription to Weapons Monthly, they were fucked.
Yeah, exactly. And they were trying to grind out materials by playing Triple Triad.
Yeah.
But they just weren't that good at it.
Anyways, 92% of our audience said yes, gun blades are badass. That is basic. That is a high number of like everyone saying yes. How could
Well, it's
you
a
not?
correct answer.
It is. 100%. And I was just looking at the detail on Squall's. Like, they even went to the trouble of designing Squall's little gunblade case. Like, has like a Griever logo on the front, and like it just there's so many little details in those old Final Fantasy games. I
Enough
shouldn't
room
say they're
for preamp.
Yeah. Like, you could just get lost. I'm thinking about doing a
if
stream.
anyone seems impractical, it was Cypher's. It was like a 9mm, so he had to hold it at a weird angle.
Yeah, he did. Well, I said gun blades. You know, anybody's. Yeah, did you ever see the weird gun blades in Final Fantasy 13? They got real crazy with them. Like, lightnings is just like...
Oh, hers was like even weirder, because that wasn't even like, I don't know if that's necessarily a gun blade.
No,
it was a transformer.
Like a sword. It was a sword what turned into a gun.
Yeah, it was kind of a transformer there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a different weapon. The Blaze Fire Saber, I believe it's called.
They were like, this doesn't make sense. Let's make it a little more logical, but not quite as cool.
Yeah, it looked more like a Power Ranger weapon than anything.
Yeah. Somehow less.
Or maybe a rowing machine. It was hard to really pin down.
Yeah, it was a weird.
Just grab both sides of it. I think I want to do a stream this year with FF8, like a continued thing, just because of the 20-year anniversary thing and being like my favorite childhood game. But I think my emphasis is going to be on just pointing out the details of the world, like just the little things in the design of the place. Like when you go into the cafeteria or the rooms, the dorm rooms, there's so many little details in that world that I think I want to have fun highlighting.
I would definitely focus the stream on really getting into the background and art design behind Norg, the most interesting character in Final Fantasy VIII.
What's behind Norg?
I don't know. What's his deal? He's a weird like squid man.
Yeah.
You're right.
What lives under the school.
That's right. God. Now that I think about that game, I'm like, that game was real weird. I'm glad I was 12 when I'm glad I was 12 when I fell in love with it.
I think Laguna is neat.
Laguna is probably the best iteration of telling a backstory in like any of the Final Fantasy games. Like that whole thing, everything to do with Laguna is
and once you have all
the best.
like it's so weird, but once you have all the details, it adds up. Also, Man with the Machine Gun is a dope ass track.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
It really, really is. Yeah, I, when Morgan posted that, as much shit as we give him for never shutting the fuck up about Final Fantasy VIII, it really is a great game. And like when he posted that 20th anniversary, I was just like, fuck, like it's been that long, and it really is a great game. Like, barring the draw system, barring some of the melodrama of the story, it is a really good game.
That's just Final Fantasy at any turn.
Exactly. I mean, like a few of the main characters a little bit difficult to listen to their dialogue, but it's
yeah.
it's. I mean, like no game is without its flaws. So it was a really good game, and I'm just glad that, I'm glad that Morgan, you did post that 20th anniversary edition, because it is a good game, and I think that it does get heavily overlooked.
And as Squall would say to your criticisms, whatever.
Yeah.
And as Zell would say to your whatever, punk.
You know what? That's the perfect transition, guys, that you didn't even know, because I asked the community. By the way, we run polls every Monday to Tuesday at Sword Chomp on Instagram. I said, are you on Team Squall or Team Seifer? And the two choices were whatever or chicken wuss. Yeah, which is terrible. They really fucked him over on some of that translation. That had to be a translation.
You know
thing.
what? My favorite part of Final Fantasy VIII is Zell's face tattoo.
Yeah.
God, that was so 90s too.
Do you think he really confidently made that decision? Like, he walked into the tattoo parlor and he was like, fuck yeah!
I feel like that's the kind of game that would be so fun to analyze now as an adult.
He just saw Mike
the best
Tyson
part
and he
about
was like,
that, though,
fuck yeah.
his mom seemed so normal.
Sadly, he never bit anyone's ear off.
We don't know that. Maybe there was a sequel that never happened.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. It's just the mission of Final Fantasy VIII 2. Will Zell bite off someone's ear?
That was actually the framing device, is Squall is bailing Zell out of jail. And then they flash back through, like, for hours and hours and hours, and at the end of it, Zell just bites somebody's ear off.
I know, and you know who gets weirdly overlooked in that game, even by me, because I just don't remember a lot about him, was the pretty cowboy, Irvin. Don't remember that much about him.
He was a sniper, and he choked, and he had a shotgun.
That's how we remember. He was pretty...
He was supposed to
that was
assassinate the
wasn't
sorceress.
his best weapon a shotgun? Like, I'm pretty sure his ultimate weapon. Like, he trains all this time to make these crazy long-distance shots, and eventually just gives up. Realizes, nope.
That's his arc.
We'll just use the shotgun.
They hire this crack sniper, and you have to pick him up at the train station because I guess he forgot how to walk.
Yeah.
And he has a double barrel shotgun, and up until the point where you get into the sniper's nest and he chokes, you see zero evidence that he's competent with a sniper rifle.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
all.
Well,
Yeah, at all.
when you first meet him, he's literally laying in the grass with a butterfly on his finger. It's like,
do you like my ponytail?
God,
I was like, yes, I do.
I feel like I'm accidentally talking myself into really wanting to play this game now with my adult mind, because I was like 12. That's the scariest thing. Like Shea was saying, 20 years ago, I was 12. You know, that's
to be fair,
no.
20 years later, you're still 12.
That's a good point.
At heart.
Yeah.
Never die.
I was 7 and I was more mature than you even then.
Well, that's not hard. That's not hard.
Yeah.
That's what she said. All right.
That's what I was waiting for.
I got one in. I hope she didn't say that to you, Red. That'd be terrible.
What?
Not
Why? Why?
It's not hard, Rich. It's not hard. We don't ever want to hear that on Valentine's Day. Just ask Fish. All right, so Fish just sits over there quietly and just
he's got a lot going on.
Fish, we met over Final Fantasy VIII. You got nothing to say? We fell in love over Final Fantasy VIII.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we did.
See, whatever. He's Squall at heart. That's what he is. Oh, Rich is giving us the one finger. That means he has something cool. Oh, his microphone fell over. I'm narrating it for our listeners. He's going to get something cool. I can tell. I can sense it. He really is. You know, that's a true story for our listeners. While Rich runs away, is that my Final Fantasy VIII case I have is still cracked from when Fish put it in his backpack, I think.
No, that never happened.
Oh, that was
Morgan.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
That was Metal Gear. God,
You
I
big
lied.
dummy. You're a liar.
I am. I mean, damn it. I get it confused.
You did it to your own self. I don't know what you did to your case, but I mean, I have a case that I could send you if it bothers you that much.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I like to have something about having the original is cool to me. So Josh, you and Shea, there's no more Final Fantasy polls. I just wanted to get that in there. Keep a lookout for my streams. That sounds. Keep a lookout for my streams. Josh, you and Shea wanted to say a couple things about Wargroove. I know we teased it a little bit. You guys have some thoughts now that you've had time to process the groove?
Yeah, for sure. The game is awesome. Buy it and play it. Thank you.
Oh no! You said I would hate it though. I asked you, and you said Morgan.
Oh, this
you'll
wasn't
hate
for you. I don't care about your opinion. I'm talking to the
Okay.
listeners.
Mhm. The
it. So if
educated
you're
masses.
like me, don't buy it.
That's true.
If you're like me, and you like emo Final Fantasy games and cowboys and Red Dead, don't buy it. Bad. Wait. So why do you think I would hate it? That's a better way to approach this. Why would I hate Wargroove? Tell me.
good.
It requires a lot of strategy. Oh, there's that. It requires a ton of strategy. I know your play style is to just run in and do things, which this game you cannot do that. The few times that I have tried to do that, I get my ass spanked every time.
Yeah, it's way slower paced. Like if you get impatient, you fuck yourself 100% of the time.
Yep.
It sure is Advanced Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By way of
and
StarCraft.
the thing is, I had never played that game, so for me,
Oh, really?
it reminds me a lot of StarCraft. Like Josh.
You
just
should
said.
you should go pick up some old Advanced Wars. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it has scratched that itch for you. Black Hole Rising. It's a hell of a game.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, all those
interesting.
Advance Wars games are great.
Yeah, interesting. I do want to try those eventually at some point, but
Yeah.
it just for you, Morgan. It just requires. I'm not being rude. It's just like the play style that you have is so polar opposite to how you have to play this game. It's incredibly slow paced, whereas something like Into the Breach is fairly fast paced in terms of a tactics game. And I don't think you would connect with any of the characters personally, because how this game works, it's not like what we alluded to before, not like a Fire Emblem game where you get connected with the characters in the battle by using them. What happens is the story is happening where you have these different commanders and you have to use them for different situations, and a lot of the character building happens between these like few minute cutscenes in between each battle. And I like it. I think it's interesting. It's not amazing by any means, but you take it for what it is, and it's really fun and lighthearted, and a lot of the characters are cute and quirky. And I don't think that's your style, Morgan, but I
think you're right
like
about
it.
the character thing. I think
it's
And one of the commanders is the world's best doggo.
Mm-hmm.
that is fucking true. I mean, the second world's best. The first world's best. As much as I gave this game shit, is Far Cry 5, but it definitely has the second best doggo.
And those pupper soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing about them is that unlike any other unit in the game, they don't die when their health depletes. They just run away.
They run away, so you don't feel bad about killing all the dogs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, Shea, we got to get on that New Dawn. I will say this. I think I get a little bit of a bad rap for people to think that I'm just some sort of like lunatic running in, balls blazing. But to be fair, I finished Into the Breach on hard, Shea. That is with a custom team.
That has nothing to do with this.
Into the Breach is very
even
bite-sized compared to this.
Literally, tactics is the only thing those two games have in common. Literally, the genre tactics. That's it.
What about this? I got to the last stage on Fire Emblem Fates, the harder of the two. How about that?
Again,
that has more connection, but
it does. It has a little bit more connection. Not much.
I mean, I don't play those games. I play those games differently, but I think that you're probably right about.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and play it. I would be happy if you played it, because then you could sit here and talk about it with us, and you would actually play a good game for once. Just the problem being is, I just don't think it's your fancy.
It's just the money. I really want to get on the Switch.
Dude, it's on Steam.
Well, I'm just thinking I play a lot. Like I played all the Into the Breach on my couch, mostly with my daughter in the mornings. It's like very convenient for those kind of games.
Well, it has been announced it's going to be on the PS4. And it is on the Switch, and I understand you just said money is an issue, but you can always try it out and see if you like it before you even purchase it on Steam, since the Steams are connected.
Try before you buy.
Fish can buy it for me. He's my sugar daddy.
You try it on Steam, and then you buy it on Switch.
There you go.
He said
exactly.
No.
But
he said no.
To get into the hardest. Oh, good.
I want to ask you. It's a question. It's on what you're talking about, Shay. The biggest criticisms I've heard of Wargroove are that the things that it does that are very like sort of traditional that can be frustrating. Like enemies can kind of appear out of nowhere. You can't even see them sometimes, and they can just appear off the map and fuck you over. Things like that are sort of very traditional in that genre. Would you agree with those criticisms? Disagree?
I will agree in the sense that that's what happens. I never feel that
When it does, it serves a purpose.
exactly. Like you're always aware that it's going to happen because the way that the game kind of sets itself up is like if you're in a particular level, and this happens a few times in the game, and you're trying to get your commander to escape because you're being swarmed with enemies, then what ends up happening is that they tell you at the beginning, you have to run, you have to get out of here because more enemies and more enemies and more enemies are just going to be coming. So it's not like this surprising shock like, oh, what the fuck? Like 10 enemies just randomly appeared. You know about it. And yeah, is it my favorite mechanic about strat games? No. Or tactics games? No. But I mean, you're aware of it, and it ramps up the difficulty. Like you look at something like Shining Force, which I'll always compare all tactics games to that. You have a set number of enemies on the screen, and the enemies are a little bit harder, and you have to devise your plan according to that. The game here is not so much that the enemies are more powerful than you and you have to really strategize your positioning. It's more like they can overwhelm you, and there are so many different types of enemies that you have to think about, as Josh has said privately, is you really have to think about your economy, and you really have to think about what you are basically hiring as a unit every turn. You kind of have to plan ahead, and you have to know, all right, what's good for me to create or hire right now, and what's going to be good down the line. Do I need to save money now, or do I just need to go all out and get a big unit to kind of roll with my commander, build some smaller units? You really got to strategize, and it's different than a Fire Emblem, than a Shining Force, or other games in that. Arc the Lad, if you really want to look at like all those type of games, is just you are really managing that economy, which speaks to something like Advance Wars or StarCraft, and it has some of those those tropes of the genre, but I feel like it also gives it an actual purpose than just for the sake of difficulty. It weaves it into the story, and it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I think to your point there, it's like that idea of a lot of strategy games, and I think this does it particularly well. It's less about like gaining this overwhelming victory, and more about a lot of the time it's, hey, hold something at bay until you accomplish some other menial task.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that was another thing that kind of, in order to, Advance Wars also has the whole economy thing, but it's not, taking damage is not quite as rough in that game as in this one, whereas once you have a unit damaged, they're not only closer to death, they also do so much less damage, like percentage based off of how much health they have left, that you are essentially always going to trade units in this game. Like, you kind of have to get used to the idea of sending in some things to die. Like, there are ways to get around that if you're trying to go for, like, nobody dies, like, perfect
And I
scores.
do miss Advance Wars unit merging ability.
Yeah,
That's,
to
I'd
mix.
say one of the things I wish was here.
But that kind of gives it that more of a StarCraft feel. Like, I have to try to figure out how to kill these things in a more economical way than the opponent. In a lot of cases.
A lot of that strategy is forcing them to waste their time attacking those weaker units.
Yeah, and I think that's a really cool feeling in a turn-based game, because that's something we haven't really gotten exactly like that before, which, just makes it a different experience, because so many tactics games end up being so close to each other that you need something different to latch onto, and I think this one, I think it has it with that, just minor tweaks to make it play like just itself.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, I'm interested for sure. And we'll see how that goes. Wargroove. Hey, you want to hear something that's gonna blow your mind, Rich? Blow your fucking mind.
Tell me.
There's 5 people in this room. Only 2 of us have finished Final Fantasy 15, and that's you and me.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Seems like 3 of us know how to use our time.
Yeah, no, I'm not defending what I've done.
What? That was...
I like Final Fantasy 15. I feel like I'm at a support group. My name is
Didn't you
Rich.
get-
And I like Final Fantasy 15. You guys don't have to rush to it now. They canceled a lot of that content.
Yeah.
You should finish all the mainline Final Fantasies. That should be some sort of sin against humanity if you don't. All of them. All the main ones except 11. But one of the polls I did this week was just like... if you prefer-
Un13, which is a bad game.
yeah, you should still finish it.
I finished it. It's not a good game.
If they just made 13 play like any of the other ones, I think I'd
finished
like
it. I
more.
killed God.
That's all the Final Fantasies. What are you
Yeah,
talking
no,
about?
that's the plot to every Final Fantasy
Yes.
Yeah.
game. But also Hope was there, which made it horrible.
Anyways, it was polarizing. It beat out Kingdom Hearts 3 in our poll, but not by the margin I was hoping for.
I finished Kingdom Hearts 3.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I couldn't tell you what happened. I realized when I was done that there were no Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. Because Sora was super busy hanging out with Woody.
What is that?
I don't know, man. Here's my hot take.
Okay, I'll take.
There's for sure gonna be more Kingdom Hearts. I don't think there should be.
Okay, I'll take. Interesting. You played the whole damn thing, though, man.
I learned a lot about friendship while I was playing the whole thing, and I think I actually hate my friends now.
Oh, wow. Fish just gave you the thumbs up. He hasn't moved in an hour and a half, and he gives you the thumbs up when you say you hate your friends.
Yeah, like I don't think I ever want to see them again. Because, like, here's the thing. Kingdom Hearts has a formula, and I don't know, maybe I'm so far removed from having played the other games, maybe this was always the formula, but it's like 30 hours of really tightly knit and poorly constructed narrative, approaching a goal, evil Shadow Man appears, tells me I'm a fuckwad, I tell him I'm not a fuckwad because friendship, Goofy and/or Donald Duck backs me up on such a sentiment. We fight. On to the next poorly conceived, tightly structured narrative.
Yeah, no, that's been all of them.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, also Mickey Mouse is there.
Mm-hmm.
But no Leon. Where's my boy Leon at?
He wasn't there. He had a thing that weekend.
Yeah. They realized he served no purpose in those early games. Like they've slowly weeded out all the Final Fantasy characters.
They needed a cipher for David Boreanaz to speak through.
Yes. Yeah, he was he was the info dump. Like that's
I was like, what's Angel doing here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like they were just the info dumps in the earlier games.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of what they were
tricked
there for.
us. That's what they did. They tricked us into. Yeah, I don't know. I still like those early games. I'm not.
Also,
gonna shit
there's
on
no Coliseum in this game, and I'm mad about it.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of spread that out everywhere else. Like there are different smaller challenges on like all the worlds instead of having like one place for all the challenges.
I don't know, man.
Shea looked like he had a joke. Shea was leaning in like he had a joke.
Oh, I decided that they're being serious, but I was gonna say, Josh, I'll spread you out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Just couldn't get in there fast enough.
I feel like
all right.
It's almost like this game. It's almost like development restarted multiple times over the period of a decade.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what makes you think that.
You know,
Crazy.
like I haven't played the game yet, unfortunately, but a lot of what people have said, it really reminds me of kind of the development to finished product of The Last Guardian is kind of what it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
Just what I've heard.
Yeah, I guess I could see those. the most self-aware thing they do, I actually think, which was probably my favorite thing, is the intro world. Everything feels very different, and you're probably playing for like an hour and a half to 2 hours before you exit this intro world, and then a title card pops up and it says Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted that, yeah. Oh, I've seen the best thing already. Okay, well, I'm good. I'm just kidding. I'll finish it before the end of the year. I have to. It's my sworn duty, somehow. Plus Fish bought it.
It's not a difficult game.
Yeah, no, you'll finish it just putting the time into it. That's kind of that's my one complaint so far, is that it's way too easy on hard mode. It's still, like, just...
There's no challenge to be had, to be perfectly honest with you, which is insane because those other games did require a degree of grinding if you really wanted to, like, push through. But I coasted. I absolutely coasted.
All right, well...
Yeah, which is sad, because I can't tell if the combat system is good or not because there's nothing to really test it against. Like, it seems like there's good ideas there, but there's never...
The mechanics of it, I think, work really well, and I'd even like to see elements of that poured into the next Final Fantasy, maybe. Like, the flow of combat feels really good, but I never feel like I'm being challenged.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned this before, but, like, the only time there's any challenge is basically where there's no risk. Like, a lot more of, like, the mech combat that you get in the Toy Story world and the ship combat you get in the Pirates of the Caribbean thing.
Yeah, they went and they made Assassin's Creed 4 in the Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, like, there's, like, you can actually... There's some level of challenge in both of those compared to the, zero challenge in the rest of the game.
And I don't even know if the Pirates world, if I'd necessarily call it a challenge. It's just like they introduced this absurd leveling mechanic that you're forced to kind of grind out for a little while, or else you're barricaded from moving forward.
Yeah, that's a little bit of it. Like, there's definitely, because it's completely different, there's a new system to learn, which, anyway. But those Toy Story mechs are great.
Yeah, no, those were a lot of fun. They sure did use the Toy Story world as an excuse to get super anime.
Yeah. They did, and to good effect.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think that's pretty much it. We hit all the polls, we hit all the main topics. I did want to say, as we wrap up the show here, I need your 30-second hot take on Resident Evil 2 remake.
Well, I don't want to give too polarizing of a take, but I would say that it's the best remake ever made.
I think we said that on the podcast. Some of us.
Okay, I'm going to fully admit this. This is not a thing I have done in years. I called out of my day job to finish Claire's story, and that's not a thing I've done in a long time. But
wow.
I was up at like 1 a.m. still playing it, and I'm like, I'm not fucking going to work tomorrow. Like, I'm just going to keep doing this. And it was just something about it. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to pinpoint, but everything kind of comes together. Like, layers of nostalgia. It looks beautiful. The changes to the gameplay make cohesive sense. I can't wait to delve into those ghost stories they added.
What? Ghost? What are you talking about?
There's free DLC what is out now, I think. Yeah, the Survivor stories.
Oh, that sounds cool. I only finished Claire's, but I want to go back and do Leon's when I get a chance. But, man. Yeah. No, our listeners actually voted it the best remake of all time, too. So you can't be that crazy. And they always release those games on your birthday. So that means your life is cursed.
It's true. It's, I'm a cursed being with the Resident Evil.
I really love that series now. Can't wait for 8. Can't wait for 8. Let's see here. Okay, I mean, that's pretty much it. I can't even do their hot takes, Rich. It's been great having you on the show, as usual. It's been a long one. Lots of good laughs.
It's late, man. Wow, it's nuts. It's almost 1 a.m. here.
Yeah, Fish gave me the sign. He's like, look, man, pole position's closing soon, so we need to get out of here. So I wanted to say we have Shea has a side podcast called Evoking the Sublime. If you want to listen to some interviews he did with some creators in the gaming space, you should check it out. I have a side podcast called In the Blood where I interview composers. I should check it out. Again, that's Evoking the Sublime and In the Blood. Of course, our Patreon, I've already pimped a couple times, patreon.com/swordchomp. And our awesome sponsors, 2 Girls, 1 Mic, and of course, Sassy D Merch, our big new sponsor that we love very much. So it's been a lot of fun. We'll be back next week. It's been a party, guys. It's late. I guess we should get the hell out of here. So that's it. We're saluting you. You can't see us, but we're all giving you a salute. Until next week, peace out.
Night.